Hello everyone. This is Sabrina and you're watching another episode of Coffee with Sabrina. I hope everyone's doing well today. I have such a treat for you guys. Our podcast, Coffee with Sabrina, is built on business owners coming in, talking about their successes and challenges. But as you guys know, I throw in one or two that are a little different from what we normally do. Today, I have a special guest with me, and we have some really important information to share with the group about, I would say, under health and wellness, because the last couple of episodes we did were under health and wellness. So I want to read this for you guys before I introduce our guest. Today, I'm going to put these readers on. Today we're going to be talking about Down syndrome. We're having this conversation that is not about a diagnosis. It's about dignity, ability, love, and purpose. Too often, people with Down syndrome are defined by limitations instead of their strengths, their joy, and their individuality. This interview is meant to educate, empower parents with practical tools, and most importantly, remind our community that individuals with Down syndrome are people first, with personalities, dreams, talents, and incredible value. My hope is that today we walk away with greater understanding, deeper compassion, and a commitment to include what is real, not just spoken. So, with no further ado, I would like to introduce my guest, Alicia Natalie, and we're going to learn a little bit from her today. So, Alicia, tell us about you.
Hi, thank you for having me on your show today. I am very pleased to be here. And a little bit about Alicia is that it's not ever a little bit about Alicia. That's number one. Yes. Alicia is quite loaded. But to keep it short and simple and sweet, Alicia is from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago originally. I now reside and have been residing in the US for over 20 years. I'm a mom of 3. I am a wife, I am a community activist and liaison, and I really strive on opening doors and ways and methods for people and community to allow love to grow.
Wow. Okay. So you said you've been here for 20 years. You're from the island of Trinidad. Tell us a little bit about that.
I have never been one to stay confined to one space. I've always had a desire and a burning to stretch out and go beyond where I'm at. And that being said, years ago, not only did I leave my island and I lived in London for a while, my paternal grandparents lived in London, so it was an easy move. That just ignited the fire within me to travel and just to experience the world on different levels and to get into community on those different in those different areas. And then years later, I met my husband. For medical reasons, we decided to move to the US. So that's how that move came, and more or less the rest is history.
Right.
Yeah.
You're still here.
I'm still here.
You're still here. I would love to hear more about you and living in the islands, living in London. But we're here today for Down syndrome. You said you have 3 kids, and your last baby girl was born with Down syndrome.
Yes.
I have to say, guys, even for myself, I didn't know how to deal with it. For many years, Alicia and I we're sisters. We're so close that we're sisters from different misters.
Yes.
But I had to pull back because I didn't know how to deal with it. I felt sorry for her, and I felt all these emotions, and it was about me. It was not about Trinity Lilian. It was not about my sister Alicia. So this interview today means a lot to me just as much as it means to you.
Yes.
I do want to start because as you walk in the door, I go, what's with the outfit? So I would love for you to tell me a little bit about that.
So my outfit today is very intentional because as a special need parent, and I'm not just limiting my reasoning for being a Down syndrome mom, as a special need parent, you are required to encompass a lot. And one of the things is that you have to be ready to move. You have to be boots on the ground. So I have my black boots on, which is not only one that is ready for battle and there's a steel tip to protect me, it also is comfortable. It's also resilient through any weather, through any situation. And you need to be able to stand and plant yourself. Because as Sabrina just said, you are stepping into an environment where people don't know how to deal with your situation. And the first instinctive thing for most to do is to call upon their own personal feelings. And a lot of times it's misconceptions, because they genuinely don't know, but they take that unknowing and it comes into a factual reality for them until they begin to ask questions and begin to learn and to discover. And we saw that transformation with you over the years. My dress today represents the color of the earth. It also has two strings, because special needs world, there are always strings attached. There are always strings attached, and you have to know, do I tie the strings? Do I let them hang? Do I just have them separated? So it's also a reminder of that. The earth color, the earth tone, it tells you that you need to go to basics. Get where it started. The foundation is so important for you. My jewelry today is silver, and it tells of the metal, the strength that you have to shape and to construct your world, which is different than quote-unquote norm. This is your normal. What does that look like for you? And within your normal, just as my earrings show, it may be dark in color, but there's always a shine of glitter. Yeah. This is the beauty of being a special needs parent. It comes with that. On my arm, you see a tattoo that says, higher being within self. God is always on my side. He is always on my side. And then my hairstyle. Some days, it's just going to be a day where you need to pull your hair up in a ponytail. Other days, life is going to remind you that there are twists and turns. But that twist and turn will bring beauty, because it means that you would have had to slow down enough to endure the twist and make it what it is. My lipstick highlights my smile.
Which is very beautiful. I always tell you, you have the most beautiful smile. Even the days you're having the most roughest days, your smile, it's so contagious. It warms my heart. And I see something on social media and I'm like, how can you not smile back at that smile? So I love that smile of yours.
You gotta smile.
Yeah.
And that's the outfit for today.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because it's not your norm.
It's not my norm.
So when you walked in, I was like, what is that about?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I asked.
It was
I'm
intentional.
glad you were, yes. Glad you were willing to share it with our audience. I would like to know, though, about the uniqueness of Trinity Lilian, her strengths, what did she bring into your life, and what is her uniqueness? Tell us about her.
So let me push it back a little bit. Trinity was diagnosed at 14 weeks with having Down syndrome. And from there, I chose not to share that information with anyone, because I didn't have answers to the questions I knew was going to come. The only person that knew that the baby I was carrying had Down syndrome was my husband. That's it. And I made that decision for my peace. One of the things that you have to do is to create a space of peace within your life, becoming a special need parent. So the first thing Trinity did was to teach me how to seek peace before she even got here. Her name is Trinity Lilian. She is the third of my children. I've always wanted 3 children, Trinity being 3. I come from the land of the Trinity, Trinidad and Tobago, also known as La Trinidad, the Trinity. So there's a lot of meaning. She was also named by her big brother, my firstborn. And there was a lot of meaning, and is a lot of meaning behind her name, which carries her. Other than peace, she has also taught me there is joy in every moment of your day. There is joy within every aspect of your life. Even the times where trials, you feel like it came to disrupt you, it really came to bless you.
You know, and I want to touch on that joy because, we all have our struggles and we all go through our things. But I look forward to when I can call you on the phone and hear her in the background.
Yeah.
Especially when she will come on and say, "Hi, Auntie Rena." And I remember not being able to understand a word was coming out of her mouth.
That's right.
So the joy today brings when I hear her speak and understand what she's saying, but also directing things to me. Sometimes when I call you and she answers the phone and no, it's Trinity's time, it's not your time,
Yeah.
So you're right about that. She brings joy to me even over the phone.
Yes.
And even being present. So I love that because I think a lot of times, and I'm really speaking for myself from where I was, I felt sorry. How could I feel joy when I always felt sorry?
Yes.
For you, for her,
Yes.
I didn't know anything. So just to speak about joy is important.
And that's a common misconception when, people need to interact with a family that has a special needs family member. The first thing they feel is sorrow. And I really want to eradicate that.
Yes.
Because we are no different than anyone else.
Right.
Who is to say that your life experiences is on a level that is far beyond anything I'm experiencing? Yet you're feeling sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for you. I see those experiences as one that challenges you to make you grow and be stronger. So this is a situation in my life that has brought joy. It has brought situations that challenge me to be the best version within the space that I'm in for that time. Which is what life is.
Right.
So it's just I have a unique opportunity to live life in a very special way.
Yes.
And I was chosen for this.
Yes, I love that. God knows, where to plant those kids.
Yes, He does.
He really does. And so, and I've seen your growth also over the years. You segued right into my next question about misconceptions. What other misconceptions are there with the community out there when they see Down syndrome kids?
A big misconception, other than feeling sorry for them, is that they can't do stuff. The word "can't" comes up immediately, and that is far from the truth. They can, and they do, and they are very proud of their accomplishments. We have so much to learn from them. One of the things I learned early on with my daughter was her ability to celebrate when she did the smallest things. She would clap, she would say, "Yay, Trinity," and she would make sure that you say it with her.
Yes.
She also, they're very, at least my daughter, very, very mannerly. So if you sneeze or if you cough, she'd say "bless you." If you don't say "thank you," okay, after she says "bless you," she will continue to say "bless you." Okay? You need to acknowledge that I am blessing you. And that is something so many of us take for granted in the grand scheme of life. How often is God blessing you that you are not saying thank you for? And so those little moments are things that are misconceived, and we really need to pay attention to because it brings such value to the moments in your life.
You are segueing into every single question that's coming up next, which is great. One of the things, we just talked about something and I said, "Are you ready for it?" And you said no. You're not really quite sure yet. I would like for you to, two things. First of all, how do you allow Trinity some independence? How do you give a kid, this is for the parents out there, how do you give them their independence? And how do you prepare for the things that you don't know that's coming? What would be your best advice for parents out there with Down syndrome kids?
So I'm going to say this confidently. Other than medical issues and things that comes with the diagnosis of Down syndrome, she's one of my kids. She's just one of my kids. So the very same way I started cutting the strings with my eldest, it's the same way I'm cutting the strings with Trinity. I may need to structure it a little bit differently because I need to speak a language that she understands, but I have been cutting the strings little bit by little bit, and that's just parenting. That's
right. Yeah.
That's
no
just
special.
parenting.
No
Yes.
special.
You know,
need there.
none whatsoever. So that is something. Just as a parent, whatever your level of comfortability is, know that you have to cut the strings because you're not always going to be there. So you want to be confident, and you want them to be confident to know they can do it without you, and it's okay if I fail, I can get up and do it again.
Right.
It was like when she was beginning to walk, she had to fall, she had to crawl. She did take longer to do certain things, but it didn't stop her from doing it. So allowing her the space to do what she needs to do and celebrating when she does stuff, even if it's not fully done, that is a big part of how I parent with her. The second question I've lost. What was the second part of the question?
So how do you allow her independence? And for parents out there with new Down syndrome kids, what advice would you give them to? I think you answered it already in what you did. It's just normal parenting. So what advice you would give them to help them to give their kids independence?
Your home. So before I became a special needs mom, when I did work, I would go out and teach parents to be parents.
Right.
One of my biggest lessons that I made sure that I was able to impart on them was, this child is coming into your world for you to build your family. Tradition is important, history is important, but you are in the position to create that for your family. Be guided by history, be guided by tradition, but don't let it define you on a level that doesn't make it yours. Okay? You are merging two worlds together, your husband and yourself, your partner and yourself. Okay? You need to be able to mesh that. Some of us, because Down syndrome, special needs families, there's a very high rate of divorce, of separation. It is challenging for people who don't get it. It can definitely lead you in a path that you just didn't expect, and it comes from just no support, not proper education, and having conversations like this to realize you are not alone. This journey is no different than this other person's journey. They're just doing it slightly differently, right? So let me learn from the good things, take and see how I can adapt it in my life. So you want to be able, first and foremost, to discuss and decide, even if you're a single parent, right? Even if you're a single parent, you have other children, or this is your only child, decide what your vision is for your family. How does family look like for you? Not as a mom with a special needs child, a kid with Down syndrome. What does family look like for you? Period.
Right.
That is what's going to shape it. The diagnosis is just a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Do you upheaval your life if you get a common cold? It's a diagnosis. Do you
deal with it?
You deal with it.
You find ways,
There's so many of us who live with seasonal allergies.
Right.
What do you do? This is just a diagnosis.
You know, you're right about that, because I've seen you discipline your older kids, and I didn't think about it until now that you do discipline Trinity the same.
Yeah.
And she listens just the same.
Yep.
So I know sometimes it can get really frustrating for parents because they're not understanding, but I've seen you over the years really come down and have a conversation with her to her level.
Yes.
And as adults, sometimes even in regular parenting, we forget to come down to our kids' level.
Yes.
I love that you're sharing that, because I think that's where a lot of parents find frustration.
Yes.
Because they don't know how to deal with the discipline inside, the conversation. There are times when Trinity should be crying, or should be screaming, or should be repeating something. And I've watched you over the years just come down to her level to figure out what's going on, because she's not doing that just because she wants to be irritated. Something's going on.
Yes.
And I love that we're having this conversation, because I know of regular parents who are frustrated with their kids.
Yeah.
Just come down to their level.
Yeah.
What about routines? So just like our older kids, they have to have routine. They have school, they have homework, they have this, they have that. How do you manage with routines for Trinity? And I'm asking two questions at the same time. Are there times where you have to completely do a whole 360 from that routine that you have, if you have one, and change it all up?
So I'm currently in a 360 moment. Over the last year, there's been some health challenges within my family dynamic, from myself to my older daughter, and even Trinity. Trinity, with her diagnosis, there are other things that come with it. So she has Graves' disease, and from Graves' disease is a thyroid, blood thing, and it also comes within alopecia. From young, she's had alopecia. It was just small spots, but last year she lost all of her hair. So we had to clean it up. She now rocks a bald head, and she loves it. I love it too, because there's no more hair to
It's
comb.
quite cute though.
It is quite cute on her. So we've been going through that. However, a couple other things. She has sleep apnea. We've noticed in the last year she's been a little bit more tired than usual, which is all in line with stuff. I have been a lot more tired because of having to do a lot more focusing on my kids with their health situations. We've had a number of hospitalizations. So those things will happen, and they will challenge you, and this is when you need to make the decision of, okay, what is best for my family right now? Trinity, usually she had therapy 4 days for the week plus school, right? We were going with that, but then I realized bit by bit it was too much on her. It was too much on me, it was too much on her, and we won't, at the end of the day, we weren't getting the satisfaction that we needed, any one of us. So I cut the days down for 1 or 2 of the classes. So she has occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy. And I even at one point put in a Kid Strong class, because muscle tone development is something we have to work on. But it was too much. So I recently had to make the very difficult decision of putting her speech therapy on pause. So now she only has therapy 1 day a week. For us to catch ourselves, to breathe a little bit, for her to get stronger, for me to focus a little bit more intently on her Graves, so that we can get her stronger in that area. And by doing that, we should be in a much healthier position to restart the other therapy. So this does happen, and you just have to be honest with yourself. It really took a lot out of me to make that decision, because there was the mom guilt of, I'm not giving her what she needs developmentally if I take her out of these classes.
Right.
But I had to sit down and think, if she's not physically healthy, if she's not, her medical side is not where it should be, then I won't be achieving what the intention is for her other therapies. So we've made that decision. Her therapists are great. So we have a plan in place, set plans so that you can feel much better about things. So we have a plan in place for future movement where that is concerned, and we're working towards it. So yes, that does happen.
Very good, very good. So I have a couple more questions, and then I'll give you some time to just speak to the audience to whatever you'd like to share. A lot of times we see or we hear of parents with special needs, not just Down syndrome. They would leave their kids home because I don't want to deal with them here, or I don't want to deal with it, whatever the situation is. What would you say to our audience that can help them with the inclusion? No matter what they're doing, where they're going, let me include my child with us.
So that's actually a platform I have decided to take up for this year, to really make it a mission to educate and open conversation specifically about inclusion. Trinity is about to be 10 in October, and within those 10 years, what I have noticed is there is, as much as education and inclusion has been worked on over the years, it is still missing something important. The focus behind inclusion really is about the special need kid assimilating into quote-unquote normal world. There's a heavy focus on that. However, my daughter attends an inclusion school, so she is mixed. She starts her day off in her special need class, but then they will have them go into regular classes throughout the day. So there's inclusion. What we need to get better with is having the non-special need campus become inclusive.
Yes.
That is where we are falling short. The child with the special needs is learning very nicely. There's a nice program. How do you interact with other children? Because our kids also have comprehension delays. They have sensory stuff that they need to figure out for themselves. How do I allow myself to be in a room with 3 other kids around me playing at the same time, or having one kid come up to me and touching me when I don't like people to touch me? So their ability to learn about themselves and how do they function within environments that is not necessarily controlled, that is being worked on. We have not been working on the other side, where the quote-unquote neurotypical kids and adults don't know how to interact. They still are fearful. They still are hesitant, and they need to be educated just as much as my daughter does. Maybe even more, because their comprehension is wider and is easier. So you need to be able to explain to them, one, you don't speak loud. Don't let your initial thing be to touch. Ask, is it okay if I touch you?
Yes.
Would you like to come and play? And that also leads me, I really need to say this, a big part of the development of a special needs child is what we call Gestalt language. And I firmly believe in this. And it's something that I would like not just the special needs community to be aware of, but neurotypical community as well, because it affects our communication, period. What I have learned, our speech therapist taught me, is that most of our communication comes from a question and answer based relationship.
Yeah.
In a special needs world, that's not how they learn, unless that's what you want them to learn. So in speech development, you're not asking questions, but you are actually giving the answers to what you would like them to see, so that they know these words and terminology. So I come to you and I say, hey Sabrina, how was your day today? That's a question. instead of me making a statement, Sabrina, I'm having a great day today. The initial response won't be, Alicia, how was your day today? It'll be, I'm having a great day today. So you put that language in their head, that then opens up conversation. When we have neurotypical conversations, pay attention to how many times you ask questions. And
now that gives me an idea how to talk to Trinity also.
Yes.
Because I always say, Trinity, how are you? And
yes.
she'll repeat, how are you?
Right.
Yes.
You heard it for yourself, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So, we have been conditioned to do things that may not be very healthy for our, communication. And that's, a couple of things I would like people to just put in their head, start thinking about it, and begin to make the change. But it is definitely part of my mission for this year is to speak about that.
Okay. So I don't want us to run out of time, but for our Down syndrome parents out there, I will not be a good self-care advocate if I don't ask you, how do you attend to your self-care?
So someone recently asked me that. I can't remember who it was, but my self-care is my Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
Okay, that is it. And Dunkin', if you listening out there, please. I need sponsors for her award ceremony. I am a daily Dunkin' person, but Dunkin' Donuts refresher drink. I pick that up. My baristas at my Dunkin' are the most kind, amazing people. I pull up, they hear my voice, they know my order. They see me at the window, they smile, we have a conversation, and it is beautiful. I leave, before I even sip my drink, I am filled with joy. They replenish me. I pull off, sometimes I park the car for a few minutes and have my drink, or if I'm on the road, I'm listening to music and I'm having my drink, and from the first sip, you just sip and you're like, yes, this is it. That's my self-care. I have a beautiful porch, and I have been enjoying my porch, where again, I am a people person. So when my neighbors come home from work in the afternoon, I'm on my porch, they're coming in, they're saying hi, hello. Those are the little moments that is my self-care moments. I love cooking. So if I have the opportunity to cook, prepare a fresh meal, again, music is the spice of life, and I'm in my kitchen and I'm doing my thing, another self-care. I am not in a place in life where I can go to a spa or take a vacation. So I have found the little things that are doable for me. And those are three things.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I think self-care, I know self-care is so important.
Yes.
And I do advocate for that everywhere I go. What are you doing? Have you taken some time out? Did you take a walk today? Do you know what the weather is like? Sit at the park for 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. Just anything you can do. And just normal, regular day-to-day for us is hard, especially when you're dealing with a special need kid. You do have to put a little extra effort, even though it's the same thing sometimes. Like you say, your outfit really told it all, because you have to be prepared for anything. I would like to give you a couple minutes, because we're kind of running out of time, to speak to our audience. If you want to talk about Trinity Lilian's award, or whatever you want to advocate for right now.
So, let me look at you. Love grows here. Love grows here. You have been blessed. When I say blessed, you have been blessed with something so special, something so unique, that you need to pause and recognize the honorable position that you have been granted and gifted. It's not easy, but nothing in life is easy. If I had to choose a difficult thing to not be easy and live through, I wouldn't have ever thought being a special needs mom was one of them, but it is. I have received on so many levels unconditional love from my daughter. If I have to think of when God created mankind, what his intention was, how should we live, my daughter is the example of that. So I want to encourage you to see beyond the diagnosis, to accept the diagnosis as one that is there to inspire, encourage, and to grow you into the most phenomenal person that you are meant to be. Each of us has a part to play within the Down syndrome community, and each of us are here for each other. There are several ways you can connect with people. After this interview, if something I said struck with you, there's a way to get me. There's an easy way to get me. So get with me. Out of having my daughter, Down Syndrome Awareness Awards was created. I had no clue that was coming. That came. There's also going to be a new campaign starting in October called You Got a Friend in Me, where we will be going after the mission of inclusion and how inclusion is not a one-way street, but a two-way street. This is an opportunity for you to be a light in a world that forced darkness on shining stars. That darkness is no longer a thing because each of us has the ability to poke a hole in something and let the light shine through. We are all lights. Shine bright. And remember that love grows here.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking time today to come out and not only us get to see each other, but to share some of your wisdom and your knowledge and your experience with raising your daughter who has Down syndrome.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. I myself have learned some things today for as long as we've been together, friends, sisters. I learned some things today, so I am sure that our audience will pick up one or two things. So thank you again.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All of Alicia's information will be on the bottom of this, so if you want to reach her, please reach out to her. If you have questions, concerns, if you need help with something, please reach out. Don't ever hesitate. The resources are plentiful out there. So if you guys need anything, reach out to any one of us. Until next time, this is Sabrina. Bye-bye.